Welcome aboard the Culture Sailor. My name is Vince. Let's see what we find out there today. What's going on, everybody? Hope you all had a fantastic weekend, an amazing New Year, and a Merry Christmas. Sorry I've been gone for so long. As you know, the holidays, and then having to get back into the swing of things with the kid going back to school and sickness going around, but no excuses. We're back now. And I figured for this first video of the year, we would start off with a little recap of some of the news over the holiday break, and then a quick little series review of Percy Jackson so far, how it's been so far. First things first, over the break, we had the Christmas episode of Doctor Who, with Ncuti Gatwa's first full episode as his own doctor. And, they haven't really released the numbers because I guess nobody watched it, and they're kind of embarrassed. Disney hasn't released the numbers, even though they're the ones that funded it and put it on Disney Plus. Even though they've put out numbers for Ahsoka, they put out numbers for Loki, they put out numbers for Percy Jackson, they won't put out numbers for Doctor Who. And apparently it's going bad enough that the doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, and his companion, Millie Gibson, there's rumors that they're already talking about leaving the series. That they're filming season 2 right now. They've already contracted out season 2, and they're in the process of filming season 2 as we speak. But that rumors are they aren't going to be back after that they're done with it already. And based on the reception to their episode, I wouldn't be surprised. I didn't watch it myself, didn't want to subject myself to that kind of torture, but watched others' reviews of it and watched clips of it and stuff. And it starts off with the doctor in a dress or in a skirt dancing in a bar, and there's a scene about goblins singing about eating children, and it just looks. The production values look horrible, and the song was horrible, and it just looks really bad. But anyways, in other news, we had Aquaman. Aquaman 2 came out with, Amber Heard. Even though everybody could, kind of assume that it wasn't going to do great, it did way worse than people thought it was gonna do. Its opening weekend, it grossed domestically $27.6 million. This is on a $250, I believe, $1 million budget. So far, since its opening on December 22nd, has grossed $100 million domestic and $334 worldwide. So, as it stands, it still needs to gross another $200 million to make its money back. Because you got to remember that those worldwide numbers, they get very little of that. If I remember right, I remember hearing that in the Chinese market in particular, they only get, I believe, like 10%. So the numbers look good on paper, but what they're actually bringing in to recoup their losses, their budget, and make profit is only 10% of that number. So it's not nearly as profitable as the domestic market. And also, there's news of the upcoming Star Wars Rey movie coming out. A director was announced, a lady named Shireen Obaid Chinoy, and some old video clips of her surfaced that people were posting as if they were new clips, which I disagree with, but the clips themselves were a little revealing about who she is, saying that she the clip that I believe is really out of context, where she talks about how her job is to make men uncomfortable. That clip is from 8 years ago, where she was doing an interview about her recently released documentary film about women's rights in Libya, I believe it is, or Syria, some country where they actually do need, a women's rights movement. And so I have no issue with that statement. But the other big statement that's making the rounds is her talking about how she's an activist. Her job is activism first and directing second. She wasn't trained on how to do filmmaking, and she's going to make sure her activism is in everything that she makes. So I think the issue there. Oh, and that there, it's about time that Star Wars finally has a female leading the story in a galaxy far, far away. As if Kathleen Kennedy hasn't been in charge for the last decade. As if they didn't try and give Patty Jenkins a movie and then that got shit canned. As if Leslie Headland isn't currently producing The Acolyte. So this lady's nuts about that. Like, she obviously is another one of these hires that doesn't know what they're doing. Kind of like when Taika Waititi mentioned to Natalie Portman that, wouldn't it be cool to be in a Star Wars movie, and she had to remind him that she was in 3 of them. These people, they're tourists who don't belong. But that is, it is what it is. She's the new director of the new Rey movie. Rumors are Rey might be pregnant in the new Rey movie. I don't know, or that Rey is going to be leading a new Jedi Order in this new series of movies. That they want to make it a trilogy, but they don't have faith in it being a trilogy, so they're only greenlighting one movie, and they're going to see how that goes. I don't know. I think it's going to be a mess. I don't think it's going to be good. I think Rey was honestly the least interesting of all the main characters introduced in the new Star Wars sequel trilogy. I think they ruined Finn, but he started off with potential. Same with Poe. Same with Kylo. But no, we got Rey. Right? Rey was never interesting. She was kind of just there the whole time to begin with. And now we're going to get more of that. So, good luck, Star Wars. And anyways, on to the main point of this video, the brief series review of Percy Jackson and the Olympians on Disney+. Well, I'm glad, honestly. I'm glad that I'm watching it for review purposes. I'm glad that I didn't watch it because I wanted to watch it for personal purposes, even though I originally did when it first started. Because when they dropped the first 2 episodes, after watching those, I was so thoroughly disappointed in the show that I did not want to go back. I thought that they changed up the relationship with Nancy, with Percy's mother, and with Gabe, Percy's stepfather, too much. I think by making Gabe look weak and Nancy look strong, Sally, sorry, not Nancy, Sally. By making Gabe look weak and Sally look strong at the very beginning, I think that it kind of makes the reveal of Sally's true strength at the end of the book, which I will not spoil here, less meaningful, right? And I feel like they kind of do that multiple times throughout the first couple episodes. Like when, and spoilers for every episode that's been out so far. When the Minotaur scene in the book, Sally kind of has to try and distract the Minotaur because Percy and Grover haven't made it to the barrier yet. And if she doesn't distract it, then the Minotaur's going to get Percy and Percy's going to die, right? In the show, Percy had already made it over the barrier. And then as she's, and the Minotaur's banging on the barrier but not getting through, and Sally's running away and stops and gets the Minotaur's attention to distract it, even though there was no reason for that, right? Which led to her being killed by the Minotaur. Captured by the Minotaur. And I feel like scenes like that just kind of make not that they're necessarily bad changes, but they are unnecessary changes, and that I feel like the way the book played out, that scene actually played out a little better and made more sense. I didn't like Annabeth's character at first. I thought she was a little too mean, a little too, for lack of a better word, bitchy. And yes, Annabeth is mean and bitchy and know-it-all in the books, but I feel like this was a little overdone. But again, now that I'm watching it for review purposes and not for personal purposes, I pushed, even though I would have given up after the first episodes, I've continued to watch it. And Annabeth's character has grown on me. Finally, in this latest episode, Grover's character has finally grown on me. I feel like they made him too weak, too cowardly, too wimpy, but he finally kind of manned up and and stopped trying to play peacekeeper so hard, and actually asserted himself a little bit. And I really like what they did with him. Uh, Percy, I feel like, is a little too whiny. I feel like he's not this whiny in the books. I feel like in the books he's a little slow to catch on, but overall smart, like kind of like a deceptively smart, outwardly dull but inwardly sharp. I don't really know how to explain it any better than that. And in the show, he just seems like a little whiny. He seems a little dumber than he should be, a little more oblivious to things than he should be. Um, and it kind of seems like at times they're turning it into the Annabeth show. But for a show that came out 2023, 2024, it's not bad. I would definitely recommend it to any fan of the book who's about my age, mid 30s, and can't and wants to get their kid to read it, but their kid won't read it for whatever reason. Maybe try showing them the show. I think that at least then you would have they would know enough about the source material to be able to you'd be able to talk about it, and maybe you'd be able to convince them to read it after that. I don't know. After the whole show comes out, I'm gonna try showing it to my kid and see if that works. Because as of right now, the book is too boring, quote unquote. I think they should have cast Chiron better. I think that he is not even the fact that they cast a black dude. Like, okay, whatever, they're doing the race swap thing. That's fine. They cast him too old, I feel, or like the guy looks physically too old. So like there's scenes where he should be wearing armor, but they keep him in his tweed jacket because I think armor would look a little goofy on a guy that old. And so they should have. I think that's why they didn't do it. And I think they should have just cast somebody 10 years younger. Other than that, I do like the show. I think the casting for Dionysus is great. I think that again, I didn't like Gabe. I like Sally, but I like the actress who plays Sally. I think she's good casting. I don't quite love what they've done with the character, but it's not horrible. The changes that are there for the show, some of them make sense. Some of them I feel like they waste time on some added scenes that weren't in the book that they add to the show, and then it takes away from time. It takes away time from scenes that could have been a little longer, a little more embellished, a little cooler, a little more some of the action scenes and stuff. But overall, so far it's a good show. So yeah, that's it. I say go watch it. Tomorrow, Echo comes out, and I haven't decided if I'm going to watch that or not. And I believe the new episode of Percy Jackson comes out tomorrow as well, and I will do an in-depth, true, actual episode review of that episode when that comes out. Other than that, I hope you guys again have had a new year. I look forward to all the fantastic videos and all the fantastic time we'll spend together this year. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by. If you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on X at CultureSailor1. I'll see you next time, and as always, fair winds and following seas.